Hi you guys, and welcome to episode 11 of the Moonchild podcast show. And I have decided to answer a couple of your frequently asked questions in the next couple of episodes. And the number one question I always get is how to make my marriage happy again. So this episode is a first step in making your marriage happy again. Welcome to the Moonchild podcast with Miriam Maris. In this podcast, I'm taking you along on my path, shifting my own consciousness and living my life to the fullest, but at my own pace. Front row living, that is my goal, becoming the ultimate version of me. Ever since I was little, I always loved the energy of the moon. It feels soothing, it's slowing me down, and it's making me realize what's actually important to me. Love, connection, and freedom. So welcome. I hope you feel at home and inspired. Enjoy this ride with me. And what I want to explain to you in this episode is how you can start doing that. And one of the first steps actually is to focus on joy. So this episode is about joy. How can you focus about joy when everything around you is not so joyful and you feel stuck and you feel maybe stuck at home in Corona times, even worse than you normally are, and you have nowhere to flee to and nowhere to go? Then focusing on joy is even more important. And in one of the last episodes, Lou Nistad called this look for the stars. When you walk outside, she said, in the nighttime when it's dark, and you look at the sky, you never look for the dark, right? You look for the stars. You look for the upside of the downside. And that's what this is all about as well. When you focus on the joy and you focus on the things that are good in your life, in your relationship, you recreate patterns in your brain. Because when you're always focusing on what your husband is not doing well, what he's not, what's not going right, then you're only seeing the dark side. And the dark side can become so big that you feel like you're stuck in a hole and you can't climb out anymore. And then you might feel like divorce is your only way out. But let's turn this around and see what happens when you start focusing on joy again. Start focusing on the things that he does do right. Usually it's not 24/7 misery, right? And I have experienced myself that when you focus on joy in general and specifically on joy in your home, that it can change your whole way of looking at it. And suddenly it might feel not so overwhelming anymore, but it still feels like a job you need to do. I mean, it still feels like you have to, actively change things. But when you start focusing on the good side and you start focusing on the joy, it lightens things up. It's like lifting your sunglasses when it gets darker, right? It's like looking into a clear mirror, and then you can actually see what's going on. So how can you focus on joy when it seems dark outside? Well, I'd like to give you an example. For instance, normally you go to work, right? So you won't be at home, but in Corona times you're at home all the time and you feel, sense, and hear your husband and maybe your kids around you the whole time. And it's really frustrating because you feel like you want to be alone sometimes, right? You want to enjoy peace and quiet, and it's not there. Then look for joy and look for what you can do under these circumstances, because some circumstances are given, right? You're with this husband, you're with these kids, you're in this home, you're in this Corona times where you might not be able to go to work, or when sports activities are limited, or you can't go to restaurants or bars or meet your friends like you normally do. But the first thing is you need to embrace the circumstances because they're just there and you can't change it. So what can you do to make it better? What can you do to look for joy? I have started a free month of coaching in my Facebook group, and I will put a link below this episode on joy and gratitude. And what we do is we focus on joy in the morning. We ask ourselves every day, and I even say a little prayer in the morning, and we ask ourselves, what can we do today to find joy? What can I do today to find joy? And my morning meditation or morning prayer, whatever you like to call it, is good morning, dear. I'm waking up with a smile, looking forward to my day ahead. I may encounter things I won't like today, but I will stay in my energy and receive those moments with grace and ease. I feel blessed for waking up healthy, ready for a new day. Today I will focus on joy. Let's have some fun along the way. And that's what I start my day with every day. A good morning, a good joyous prayer or meditation, whatever you want to call it, to start the day off on the right foot. Because so often, and I've been the perfect example of this, we wake up feeling, oh, do we really have to go out? Or when your marriage is not working, oh, is this the guy I want to wake up to every day? You know, things like that. Those negative feelings and negative thoughts, they're with us from the moment that we wake up if we're unhappy, right? And when we change that pattern of being in a negativity loop by saying this lovely prayer, and I will put it below so you can find it and change it if you like and make it suitable for you. When we start doing that, we start the day off on the right foot, and we start the day off in a lovely energy. It's saying to us that everything is fine in this moment and that we will look for joy. Like the other day, I was waking up with a big headache, and I knew it was going to be a rough day. You know, sometimes you wake up feeling, oh, this is going to be tough. And maybe when you're in a bad period, this is every day. So what do we do then? Do we drag around that feeling all day? Or do we want to find joy even when it's not, the best time of your life? You can still find joy in the little things. You can still smell a lovely rose, or you can still look at a butterfly, or you can still enjoy your cup of tea in a quiet moment. You can even enjoy, just sitting outside in the sun for 5 minutes. Those are moments of joy. And once you start focusing your attention on those moments, and once you start enjoying those little moments, it will lift up your spirit. So if you ask me how to make my marriage happy again, this is one of the first steps, to look for joy in everyday situations. Like when you wake up in the morning and you see your husband and you're not happy with him at this moment, you're not happy with the way things are going, you can look at him and see like sort of a monster. Or you can try to look at him and ask yourself, what was the thing that I fell for when we fell in love? What was the thing that really made me feel attraction to him, right? And by doing that, you create different patterns in your brain. And despite everything that happened afterwards, once you start recalling on those feelings and going back to those happy moments, it will start to change things for you, I'm sure. And then what we do in this Joy and Gratitude month is we end the day with gratitude. And obviously you can always feel grateful, that's no problem. But at the end of the day, we say a prayer of gratitude, and we write down 5 to 10 things a day that made us feel grateful that day. So by focusing on joy in the morning, it will give you a head start. And by ending the day with gratitude, it will give you a good night's sleep, and it will it really changes your sleep if you go to sleep with a negative mindset, or that you end the day with a positive feeling. Even though you may have had a rough day, there's always things you can be grateful about. Like the day I was describing that I had a big headache, I decided to focus on joy. I decided to be gentle with myself. And at the end of the day, I was so grateful that I chose that path, because at the end of the day, I did some chores that I had to do for a long time that were pretty brainless, but that I kept postponing all the time. And I did them now because I felt, I can't do a whole lot of stuff that I normally do because I have a big headache. But what I can do now is do the brainless stuff that I never want to do. And now it gives me a mellow feeling. I put on some nice soft music and I just do it. So at the end of the day, I felt so grateful for having done those horrible things that I needed to do for a long time. Being gentle with myself. I looked for joy. I had some lovely chocolate. I sat in the sun for 5 minutes. And at the end of the day, I felt so grateful for doing that. Now, if you translate that to an unhappy marriage, or a marriage that you want to make happy again, then at the end of the day, feel grateful for what you can be grateful for. For instance, that you have a roof over your head, that you have a nice bed to sleep in, that you have someone to help you with the dishes, that this man maybe gave you beautiful children, that, all the things that he does do right, because there must be things that he's okay with, right? Feel grateful for that. And my prayer for the evening is, thank you, universe, for making me realize I'm at the exact place where I'm supposed to be. I'm learning and growing every day. I'm embracing the now, feeling grateful for the lessons I've received today, the beauty around me, and the love in my heart. I feel grateful. So by ending the day with that spirit, with that practice, with that attitude, I feel so much better going to sleep, and it really affects my sleep in a big way. Like last weekend, I forgot about the gratitude. I focused on joy, and I sort of didn't practice the gratitude thing. And it left me feeling a little bit, how do I say that? Like I forgot something. Like it wasn't full circle. It was like halfway, and it wasn't full circle. And then I started practicing gratitude again in the evening, and that made me feel so much better. So for me, if you ask me, how do I make my marriage happy again? It's to look for the stars in the dark, as Lou beautifully says, to focus on joy, that means, and to practice gratitude for the things that are going well. So if you want more info on the Joy and Gratitude Month, you can obviously look for my Facebook group. It's called Rock Your Marriage, and I'll put the link below. And we started Monday, May 11th. So there's still 2.5 weeks to go, and we practice every day, and there's every day some inspiration for you on gratitude and joy during our lunchtime lives, which you can always visit in the replay. So I really invite you, warm welcome to my Facebook group for women called Rock Your Marriage. I'll put a link below, and I'll also put the prayers I have for you below, so you can use them, and you can just change it in a way that feels perfect for you. And I hope you'll join me in the Joy and Gratitude Month, because it's really awesome and we're getting great results already. So thank you for listening to this episode of the Moonchild Podcast, How to Make My Marriage Happy Again. And do join my Facebook group, Rock Your Marriage Ladies. I'll see you there. Bye-bye. For more info, you can always check my website, Miriam with a J, Maris.com, or Google for Maris Coaching. I hope to see you soon. Bye.